I'd like to call this meeting in order, and I'd like to ask Toria Burton from Brownie Troop 250 to come up and lead us in the pledge.
On my honor,
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. I'd like to welcome everybody to the first meeting of 2014 of the Port Jervis Common Council. This time we're going to have public comment. There's a 5-minute limit. If there's anybody from the public that would like to speak on any matter, please go to the podium, state your name, the ward you live in, and whatever your issue will be.
Joe Renish, 100 Kingston Avenue. And just want to find out what's going on with the FEMA money for the canal. And spring is coming around again, and I'd like to know where we stand with the canal. There's many homes on the canal that's going to be being affected by the erosion. And my home's being affected by it too, so I'd like to know, did we get approved of the money, or is there going to be any work done in the spring, or what?
Go ahead.
I didn't know if you were going to do it on the public comment or not.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
I would just say that FEMA approved the money for the repairs, and after review, Vince found that it wasn't nearly enough money to do the job the right way. They didn't allow for the footers that had to be put in, and some of the other prep work. So when he pointed that out to their engineers, they refigured it, looked at it, and it's in the process of being deliberated on again. That's the reason for the delay. We were ready to go, and they screwed up on their end with calculations, best of my knowledge. And so it's still in the hopper, and that and 4 or 5 other things that are going on, they take forever to get back,
Okay.
with you. But that was gonna be done, and they came back and it was not gonna be done.
I know it was supposed to be done,
Right.
started in the spring and then,
Yes. It was a
Anyways, I just
long,
wanted-
arduous process to get to that point,
right.
and then it's gotta be, to get some contractors. It's a big project there and up a little further, but
Right.
the good news is, the bad news is they messed up the calculations. The good news is it's still in the process.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name's Anthony Lapani. I live at 44 Glass Street. Some of the houses on Glass Street have a major sewer problem. The city sewers are backing up into private homes. I'm a taxpayer. This has happened to me in 2007, which my insurance company, under my homeowner's policy, had to pay $10,000 to repair damages to my house. Now, on 12/29, the same incident happened in my house and my neighbor's house who lives right next door to me. There is a problem somewhere. It's not our personal sewer lines. It's on Hamilton Avenue, the main sewer. Something happens there where it gets clogged up, and then from 42 Glass Street, there is a big catch basin in his backyard that Raphael's house that is on Canal Street drains into. My house at 44 drains into this catch basin, and 42 Glass Street drains into this catch basin, which goes across 3 houses into the Hamilton sewer system. We're tired of this. I cannot keep putting claims in with my insurance company. Not only that, I have human stuff coming into my basement once again. It has destroyed my washing machine, my dryer, my rugs, and I have a completely finished basement. I can't put up with this much longer. Something has to be done for us.
Kelly, if I can. First off, I'm a little confused here. and first you're saying you have sewer backing up into your house, and then you're discussing a catch basin that's an open basin somewhere in somebody's backyard.
Correct.
First off,
That
Vince,
basin-
Vince, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no possible, that would be considered an open drain where there would be no catch basin, so to say, in somebody's backyard.
It's more like a manhole.
Oh, all right, if there's
It's
a man,
like a manhole cover, I call it a
Okay.
catch basin.
but
I
has your insurance company contacted the city of Port Jervis
They
Insurance?
denied the claim in 2007. My insurance company covered me for my homeowner's policy. The city or the insurance company denied that it was their fault, just like now. This happened on December 29th. I reported it to Robin, I put the claim in. The insurance company for the city notified me and my neighbor with this letter denying the claim because the DPW says it maintains the city sewer.
I don't just, Robin, do you know, did anybody here else get the copy of this letter?
No, I don't know whether you have it or not.
Okay. All we'll do is we'll make sure we can get a copy of
That's
this.
fine, you can take
And
a
we'll,
copy.
and I'd just like to ask, that the DPW, can look into this along with, Robin and, the city attorney, when it comes time, that we can look into this and see what the city can do.
And see what the issue is.
I mean, as far as the sewer backing up, if it's every couple of years, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's unfortunate. But if they're doing routine maintenance on it and then all of a sudden there's a blockage because, maybe they found somebody stuffed something down the toilet or it happens. It's unfortunate, and like I said, but we're gonna look, I'm gonna ask the DPW
Okay,
each
sure.
year if we can look into it and see what is, I can see if it was a recurring problem once a week, once a month, every couple of months.
Correct.
That would be, then we would have historical problems that would have to be addressed. Yeah, and we haven't had a chance to talk to Vince about it, and
Okay,
that's something we'll
That's fine,
gladly
I
look into.
understand that, but in the interim, how do I go about getting help now? Because at this point, I am not gonna report this to my insurance company because I was told basically, if I do this again, they're gonna cancel my homeowner's policy out. And that ain't gonna happen, I can't let that happen.
Okay, well,
One other thing, Mr. Vince told me to put a check valve back in 207 in. Okay, check valves are not 100%. They can get stuck open where waste still comes back into your property. So, I'm at loss. I'm getting no help from nobody.
did you put a check valve in?
No, I haven't put a check valve in.
Okay, all right.
I'm being honest,
Mr.
I mean,
Mr.
I just
Lepani.
need some help.
The time's up, but what I would like for you to do is maybe come next Monday and speak at the DPW meeting. All right,
Okay,
maybe we
that's
can
fine.
have a little bit more conversation.
Not a problem.
Okay?
Thank you for your
I'm sorry,
Sure.
sir, it's
You need a
Tuesday,
copy?
because Monday's the holiday.
Can we give this to Mrs. Weisenegger for the city
Not
insurance?
a problem. Thank you for.
Thank
Did you
you.
hear the mayor say it was
I just
Tuesday?
received a copy from the.
Did you hear the mayor say
Oh, you
the
did?
meeting was Tuesday because of month?
Monday's a holiday, so
Holiday?
it's Tuesday.
Yeah,
Where
where
will it be? Right here.
I will be here.
No,
Thank you.
downstairs?
Oh, that's right, we have planning board,
We'll
it'll be
be
downstairs in
downstairs
the
in the
conference
basement.
room.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else?
Three public comments in one meeting, this is quite the roll. Peter Tomasi, I live at 6 Washington Avenue, Second Ward. It is winter time again, which means from a commuter standpoint, getting to and from the train every morning in the dark and at home again is part of my daily routine. In October, I believe former Councilman Belcher raised the point of whether or not the roadway, such as it is, between the Metro North Station and the parking lot to the adult film store could be paved as a way for people to get from one place to another in a clean way. I want to give the daily commuter's point of view on this. There is no way, the city doesn't allow for commuters to go from the sidewalk to the station. And they should. The railroad is a key part of the town. It's a way that visitors travel to the city all season long. We're encouraging people to come to the city. I moved here, bought a house, put my kids in school, in part because I had a home where I could walk to the train and commute to the city. I would venture to guess, a 20-minute walk covers half the people in the city if they wanted to walk to that train station. However, in order to get from the city sidewalk, you have to walk through a green area, which from December to March is ice, snow, and puddles. Unless, and this won't be in the city's travel brochure, you walk clear to the far end of the plaza parking lot, around Burger King, or through their drive-through, only to come all the way back again in the same roadway that the cars coming in and out, depending on where the train is letting off and picking up. So, I would ask, and I've been doing this 8 years, that this might be the last winter that we don't have a way to walk from the sidewalk to the train station. It's the sidewalk that goes along Burger King to the right and up and over the underpass comes within 30 feet of the parking lot, 30 little feet of the parking lot to the train station. If somebody could just work out who owns that piece of property, and I understand there may be any number of parties that own that property, from the plaza to the Metro North to the train company that owns the yard. If we can just bridge that 30 feet or 50 feet with a sidewalk, so that elderly people, women with strollers might meet their families when they get off the train. Commuters might actually go to the work in the morning without having to traverse down the embankment and through the snow. It would be a tremendous increase to our daily lives, and I'm sure to the welcomeness of the city as far as that train station is concerned. One other thing on the train station. Port Jervis has the dubious distinction of being only like Otisville in that there is no handicap accessibility from the train at that yard. Any other station between here and Hoboken, there's a ramp that takes somebody who's in a wheelchair or a significant impediment to mobility, gives them the dignity of being able to get on and off the train by themselves. Currently, this is a fact, if somebody in a wheelchair gets on the train anywhere from Middletown south, and the conductor isn't obliged to ask if they have somebody that can help them off the train. If they do not, the conductor can deny them transportation to Port Jervis. That's not the kind of city we have. This is not the city. This is not our fault. It's not our job to build the ramp, but I've sent a letter to Congressman Maloney. I understand he is a ex-commuter and part of the infrastructure of the transit committee. I've sent a letter to Metro North asking them to please address the situation. I would ask the council and the mayor to please also contact them and say that this is enough. ADA says we ought to be able to have somebody in a wheelchair get off Port Jervis and be welcome. And it's time they should do that.
Thank you.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Not hearing anyone else, I'd like a reading of the previous minutes to the common council. Ms. Wasman?
Okay. Believe it or not, it was over a month ago. The last meeting was December 9th, 2013. The meeting opened with a public hearing regarding proposed local law number 9. There was also a public hearing for the CDBG Small Cities Program Grant and the closure of the public hearing for the 2014 budget. The meeting began with an executive session being called for Civil Service Commission personnel. The 2014 budget was approved. The minutes of the November 25th, 2013 regular meeting were summarized and approved. Committee reports were given, including approval of bills for payments, the Humane Society contract, fire department roster change, a special event, and the slate of officers as presented by the Board of Fire Department. There was also passage of local law number 9. And it was noted that the December Code Committee was canceled due to a lack of quorum. The DPW Committee Liaison reviewed the garbage and recycling pickup schedules. The council accepted the street sweeper bid from W.E. Timmerman and Company. Was also noted the scheduling of the Dial-A-Bus light tours for the December Christmas lights. There was also a motion which was approved to file an application for a 2013 tree planting cost share program. The police committee reported that November and December meetings were postponed to January. There's problems noted with the cruising port event regarding logistics, and they're holding meetings with the event organizers and local merchants to address the complaints and issues. Liaison reports were given, including the CDA, which appointed a reorganization committee. The ADA meeting was canceled due to a scheduling conflict in December. The Tourism Board thanked all those involved for the success of the Chris Kindle Mart on December 1st, 2013, and the recreation update was given regarding all the events and the basketball registrations. The Zoning Board of Appeals approved 2 applications. The Planning Board, the next meeting was scheduled for December, and the Plumbing Board had no business, and the Electrical Board approved 2 one-time licenses. Access 23 TV, it was noted that they held their election of officers and that they had a new slate of officers for the upcoming year. Mayor's correspondence included authorization for the Port Jervis Senior Club to hold a holiday party on December 16th. There was also authorization from the council to allow the mayor to sign the Office of Aging 2014 contract. Public comment was received regarding the Chris Kindle Mart event. The city clerk treasurer's report was given, noting the audit field work would begin in December, and wishing everybody a happy holiday season. Old business was included, again, comments on the Chris Kindle Mart success. There were notations of grand openings held recently. There was a motion to suspend the second council meeting in December of 2013. There was information regarding a proposed warming station in the city of Port Jervis, and there was thanks to the outgoing members for their years of service and dedication. New business included scheduled grand opening and dedication of Homer's Corner, winter concerts scheduled for the school district. There's also a note of the Board of Education holding a workshop meeting. Type note and executive session was set, and no additional public comment was received. The council entered into executive session at 8:40, reconvened at 9:15 with the following motions. They authorized the second settlement offer to Pioneer Construction regarding the Beach Road pump station. They authorized filling the vacancy for the courier position at the nutrition program. They authorized the appointment of an administrative assistant 5 days prior to the start of January 2nd for the purpose of transition. They also approved the hiring of recreation department stipend positions. There was also approval for a carryover of 2 weeks vacation time in 2014 for Chief Warden and Police Lieutenant Van Inwagen, and there was an authorization for a carryover of the PBA patrolman's benefit time, which will expire January 31st. The meeting was adjourned at 9:18 p.m.
What is the council's pleasure?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Ritchie, a second by Mr. Siegel. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
So carried. Committee reports. At the mayor's correspondence, I will be making the council, the council's appointments, but right now what we'll do is the people who had them in the last year will cover those committee reports if they have them. Finance and Insurance, Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. There's been no meeting of the Finance Committee. Yes, there has been, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, we did have our meeting. We do have our next meeting next Tuesday downstairs in the basement conference room, following DPW and Fire and Emergency Management meeting. We do have some bills to pay in the general fund. ACS Enterprise Solutions, the clerk's office computer support renewal, $18,011.79. Admit Computer Services, Police Department computer support renewal, $11,290. City of Port Jervis, city-held tax sale parcels, the 2014 county tax payments, $29,443.02. M&T Bank for the phone system package, $11,410. New York State Employees Health Insurance, the January payment, $157,268.63. And the State Insurance Fund, the Workmen's Compensation payment, number 7 out of 9, $21,710.08. From the Capital Fund, Plow Harbor and Associates, engineering services for East Main Street project, $8,050.53. The totals from the general fund, $301,687.73. From the water fund, $43,962.94. From the capital fund, $14,381.27. For a total of $360,031.94. I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Bobozo. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I have a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding banking and depositories. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council has recognized the need to maintain and/or establish accounts to conduct regular business, it is hereby resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis directs the City Clerk Treasurer to utilize official depositories for the funds maintained in the checking and saving accounts of the City of Port Jervis for the year of 2014 as follows. TD Bank, General Operating, Water, Capital, Money Market, Recreation. Industrial Development Agency, Senior Citizens Ruggieri Legacy Account, Urban Development Action Grant, Payroll, Rachel Deach Memorial Fund, and Small Cities Grant Funds. For M&T Bank, the Trust and Agency, Federal Drug Forfeiture, and City Drug Forfeiture Funds. And I'll make that a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ritchie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I have another resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding newspapers, radio, and television. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council has recognized the need to maintain and/or establish accounts to conduct regular business, it is hereby resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis directs the City Clerk Treasurer to utilize the Times Herald Record as its official newspaper for the year 2014, with the Gazette and Pike County Dispatch as alternates when necessitated for legal notices, local laws, ordinances, advertisements for bids for materials, equipment, and services as may be required during the year 2014. And be it further resolved that WTSX be designated as the official radio outlet and Port Jervis Deer Park TV, also known as Access 23 TV, provided by the Time Warner Cable under the present cable franchise agreement, be the designated television outlet. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell, a second by Mr. Siegel. Discussion?
I believe the resolution might be amended to include WDLC as an alternative to WTSX.
TSX is the old call letters, the DLC is the new one.
Okay? I make that, I'll amend my motion to include that.
Mr. Siegel.
I'll amend the second.
Thank you, Mr. Siegel. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis regarding standard workday and reporting resolution for New York State Retirement System benefits. Whereas the City of Port Jervis Common Council recognizes the need to establish a standard workday for all elected and appointed positions within the city for New York State retirement reporting purposes and to satisfy reporting requirements to the New York State retirement systems with respect to time worked. It is hereby resolved that the Common Council of the City of Port Jervis hereby establishes a standard workday of 8 hours for all elected and appointed officials, and it is also resolved that all elected and appointed officials who participate in the New York State retirement system are required to submit timesheets of actual time worked and/or shall complete record of activities log for at least a 3-month representative time period and submit same to the city clerk for reporting purposes. Make that a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Bell. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Hendrick. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I have a request from the Von Durier, the assessor. This is my annual request for approval to attend classes, seminars, meetings, and travel related to my position as assessor. I respectfully request permission to attend the annual New York State Assessor's Education class held at Cornell July 13th through July 18th, 2014, and the annual Fall Conference held October 5th through October 8th, 2014. Expenses have been allocated in my budget. Also, permission to attend the Orange County Assessors Association meetings, New York State Assessors Association classes, trips to Orange County government offices, Office of Real Property Services in Newburgh and Albany as needed. Related expenses have been appropriated in my budget line. I'll make that a motion.
Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Oni. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
That's all I have right now.
Thank you, sir. Fire emergency management will be changing, but Mr. Siegel, do you have anything?
No, I have codes, so,
Do you have anything for fire emergency management?
Okay, thank you. From the Richard F. Drew, Department Secretary. Dear Mayor Decker and members of the City Council, it is hereby requested that the below named persons be approved for active membership into the Port Jervis Fire Department and Company stated. Morgan R. Mosier Jr., Howard Wheat Engine Company No. 4. Riley Delaney, Delaware Engine Company No. 2. The members of the Board of Officers of the Port Jervis Fire Department approved these applications on December 2nd, 2013, and by the Firefighters Company as stated on the individual's application. With that, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the two, Mr. Mosier and Mr. Delaney, into the respected fire companies.
second.
I have a motion by Mr. Walagrowski, a second by Mr. Siegel. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Also, another letter from the Secretary, Richard Drew. Dear Mayor Decker and Council, it is requested that the below listed events be approved for the Port Jervis Fire Department and Company as stated. For Never Sink Engine Company No. 1, March 1st and November 1st, 2014, they have their spaghetti dinner. February, withdrawing in April of a 10-week club. January 18th, 2014, Old Timers Night. November 29th, 2014, a holiday parade in Wallington, New Jersey. For Howard Wheat Engine Company No. 4, November 29th, holiday parade in Wallington, New Jersey. Excelsior Engine Company No. 5, February 2nd, Super Bowl party. April 18th, pizza takeout. May 17th, Old Timers Night. June 8th, the booth at the Soapbox Derby. October 28th, the booth for fall foliage. December 21st, Kids Christmas Party. October 4th, the parade in the city of Middletown. For Tri-States Host Company No. 6, April 3rd, the gas raffle. May 10th, car wash, middle school, rain date of May 17th. June 13th, the golf tournament at High Point Country Club. August 16th, car wash with a rain date of August 23rd. September 4th, a gas raffle. October 14th, for a parade to be announced at a later date. And for the Port Jervis Fire Department, July 6th through 12th, 2014, parade activities and annual inspection day parade on July 12th, 2014. Hearing all that, I request to make a motion that we approve all the activities for the Port Jervis Fire Department for the year 2014.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Walagrowski, second by Mr. Bell. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Another thing is just a little information. EVR, that was doing the evaluation for the fire department for the city, gave a report last week on phase 2 of the fire department study. They gave it to the officers and council members that were present. The next step is for the council to meet with EVR and the officers to discuss the reports in general and follow up with phase 1 and phase 2 as needed. Also, the Truck 7 Truck Committee for the new ladder truck, along with the fire chiefs, went to look at the new truck for one of the final inspections for the new ladder truck. Chief Rhodes had given me a list for us to share. I'll pass it down in a few minutes with some issues that they've come up with, where EVR had went and they found some things that still needed to be done before the truck could be finished. So they have the punch list, and as of right now, there's still no delivery date, but anytime soon, Chief Rhodes will let us know when the delivery date will be set. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woligrowski. Code and Legislative, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. On a personal note, I'd like to indicate that I have stitches in my mouth, so the words may not come out properly. For that, I apologize. We held our first meeting of 2014 on January the 8th. Highlights of what Mr. Kidney reported are: the Buildings Department collected $74,346 in fines and fees for the year of 2013. The DPW was ordered to clear during the last two snowfalls at 69 locations. There are 10 commercial projects under consideration, in review, or pending. The number of vacant properties increased from 110 to 120. First ward, excuse me. First ward is 31, 18 of those are foreclosures. Second ward is 34, 22 are foreclosures. Third ward is 26, 14 are foreclosures. And the fourth ward is 29, and 16 of those are foreclosures. There are 31 commercial properties, of which 8 are foreclosures. Makes a total of 78 foreclosures. The city obtained 5 properties in the last tax sale. LLCs obtained 9 properties. 6 code changes are in some sort of review process. The fire inspector once again reports to the codes committee. Mr. Riley reported that he is working on 5 projects and all the call boxes are in working order. The minutes are on portjervisny.org if anybody would like to view them or print them out. And I'd like to make a motion that we accept the January minutes.
Motion by Mr. Siegel. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bovozo. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you. I also like to note that the committee's focus will be looking at all codes that are not mandated by federal or state government and try to make Port Jervis more business and people friendly in order to get businesses into Port Jervis quicker and make it easier for people to live and work in Port Jervis. We've created a Gmail account for the public to respond to with their concerns over the current code. It's pjnycodes@gmail.com. If someone sends in a concern about a code, the committee will look at it and see if there's anything we can do. Some cases we can, some cases we can't. So again, that's pjnycodes@gmail.com. And the next meeting's February 5th at 7 p.m. right here in the council chamber. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Siegel, can you just make a motion to accept the building officials report too for the month?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to accept the building officials report.
Second.
I have a motion to accept the building officials report for December. Second by Mr. Bovozo. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Public Works and Environmental Affairs from December. Do you have anything, Mr. Ryan?
No, but Kevin
And
has.
Mr. Cunningham?
Okay, we haven't had a meeting with DPW. Our next meeting will be next Tuesday at 6 o'clock in the conference room downstairs. A little update about what's going on right now. Garbage and recycling pickup are on a normal schedule this week. Next week, January 20th, due to the holiday, garbage and recycling pickup will be 1 day later in all wards. 4th Ward cardboard and recycling will be picked up on Friday, January 24th. Christmas trees will continue to be picked up. Please put your trees by the curb line. Crews are out right now filling potholes. If we miss any, please call the DPW office at 845-858-4000, extension number 5. DPW crews will also be out removing holiday decorations throughout the city this week. And as I mentioned, our DPW meeting will be next week in the conference room at 6 p.m. Thank you, Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Police Committee, Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members should have a copy of the monthly report for December 2013. I make a motion to accept said report.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Hendrick to accept the 2013 December police report, second by Mr. Wologroski. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
There was no January meeting of the committee, but the next tentatively scheduled meeting is for Thursday, February 6th at 6:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Liaisons, CDA, IDA, Mr. Ritchie.
Thank you, Mayor. The CDA, prior to the CDA meeting, the reorganizational committee met at 6 o'clock at the Recreation Center. We talked about a variety of different things. We talked about moving our HUD and Section 8 people over to the Housing Authority and what that would cost with salary and retirement. We talked about, we threw out some different names that might be eligible or be interested in being a part-time director. We talked about other people that might be interested in grant writing. We also decided that we would have, at the next Housing Authority meeting, that the CDA Reorganizational Committee will go to that meeting and we'll merge together and try to get some additional ideas as to how we want to do the reorg. And then at 7 o'clock, we had our annual CDA meeting. And at that time, we approved the November and December bills for the month, including payroll. And we also, the main part of our discussion was about the reorg. And we had asked Kathy Hendrickson to make a high priority as for the next 3 months, what the CDA needs to do as far as grant writing or applications, daily activities. And we asked her to incorporate that into a task list so that moving forward, whoever takes it over or current board members will have documentation so that if something like this happens again or somebody's out, that somebody can look at this booklet or task list and be able to pick up in an emergency situation. Our next scheduled meeting will be January 22nd at 7 p.m. up in the Recreation Center. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Anything for IDA?
IDA met on December 30th, but I don't believe we had a quorum, did we?
Yes, we did.
Oh, we did. I'm sorry I didn't attend that meeting. Mrs. Wassnigger, do you want to update that?
Yes, on December 30th, the IDA actually held a public hearing regarding the 100 Pike Plaza project and followed through with a subsequent meeting afterwards where they approved the terms of the final inducement, approved the project, and have set the groundwork for preparing a pilot agreement, which is a payment in lieu of taxes agreement for the LLC, which is doing the 100 Pike Plaza construction. So you can see the construction's already started, but in the background, the IDA is still negotiating the payment in lieu of tax agreement for that parcel once it's completed.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ADA, Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. The December meeting was not held. It was scheduled for December 5th. So we will look at reorganization of the committee and we'll announce a date, possibly at the next council meeting. I'll have a date for the next ADA meeting. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Housing Authority, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, Mayor. There was no meeting in December. The next meeting is this Wednesday, the 15th at 7 p.m. at Hillside. They'll be holding their officers' election that evening. Mr. Ritchie might want to call to get on the agenda.
Okay.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Recreation Commission, Mr. Wologroski.
Thank you, Mayor. The Recreation Department is sponsoring a snow tubing trip to Fernwood Resort in Bushkill, PA on Monday, February 3rd. The cost per person will be $20. This cost includes 2 hours of tubing and transportation to and from Fernwood. We are leaving Port Jervis at 4:45 p.m. and will return by 9 p.m. Tickets are limited, are going so fast, so sign up ASAP. This is a fun evening and great activity for children and adults. Contact the Recreation Office at 858-4045 or email us at pjrec@frontiernet.net for more information. The Recreation Co-Ed Youth Basketball League starts this Wednesday, January 15th at 6:30 in the ASK gym. The league runs through February 26th. Games are at 6:30 and 7:30. This league is our 5th and 6th graders. The public is invited to watch. We also have co-ed youth basketball practice every Saturday afternoon, also at the ASK gym from 12 to 3. This practice includes kids in grades 3 to 4. The Recreation Department is also sponsoring karate lessons with Dale and SB this winter. Registration will be held at SB's Tang Soo Do Academy on Front Street, January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. and also Saturday, January 25th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Lessons are for boys and girls ages 5 and up. Lessons will start on January 27th, 2014. The cost, which includes your karate uniform, is only $50. Once again, please contact the Recreation Office at 858-405 for details. The sleigh riding hill at West End Beach is open for the season when we have snow. Sledding is from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's free of charge. Please, no skis or snowboards. Also, the Youth Center is scheduled for January 20th, next Monday, for Martin Luther King Day, will be 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Regular hours are Monday through Thursday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., and Friday, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Please note that 6 to 10 p.m. on Fridays is for middle and high school students only. There's been a change in the next Recreation Committee meeting. The next meeting was supposed to be scheduled for tomorrow night, has been changed to next Tuesday, the 21st at 7 p.m. at the Youth Center. Once again, please visit the Recreation Department on Facebook at Port Jervis Recreation. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Tourism, Mr. Bavozo.
I personally have not yet met with the tourism board. The next meeting, I believe, is scheduled for tomorrow, January 14th at 6:30 here at City Hall downstairs in the conference room. And I promise that I will have a more detailed report in 2 weeks.
Thank you, sir. Zoning, Mr. Hendrick, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The Zoning Board of Appeals last met on Tuesday, December 3rd. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for February 4th at 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. Planning Board last met on Tuesday, December 19th. There was a pre-submission for Zara Realty, 33, 35, 27, and 39 East Main Street. Conditional use permit for a fast food restaurant with a drive-through. Mr. John Fuller, civil engineer and representing the applicant, spoke about the plans for the former KFC property on East Main Street. He noted that the company owns a number of businesses in Westfall and Matamoros, and they seek to open a fast food restaurant similar to, but not a KFC franchise operation. Site features will remain, but improvements will be made as a result of the property being vacant for a long period of time. A drive-through, as delineated on the site plan, will be added to make the business more successful. Mr. Fuller spoke briefly about the existing concrete pad and turning radius of the drive-through and stated that there is sufficient parking on site to meet the city's parking ordinance. Mr. Kidney highlighted the possible problems with the egress for the drive-through and curb cut used as the entrance. He suggested the owner consider using an alternate entrance to avoid potential difficulties for motorists entering and exiting. Mr. Fuller added that the signage could be added to define the entrance and exit for the drive-through and suggested the possibility of closing one of the curb cuts. Motion made and seconded to set a public hearing for this application for January 21st at 7 p.m. Project manager for Orange Rockland Utilities requested a 6-month extension for the company's previously approved site plan. Motion was made and seconded to grant the 6-month extension from December 19, 2013 for the Orange Rockland site plan approval for the Port Jervis substation project. Chairman reviewed the extension of the conditional use permit for I Donate Goods, 1 Kingston Avenue and 3234 Culver Street. Mr. Kidney noted that the clothing donation bins were never established at these sites. Therefore, a motion was made and seconded to deny the extension of the conditional use permit. And the next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, January 21st, 7 p.m. here in the council chambers. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Plumbing Board, Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, Mayor. Plumbing Board met on January the 8th. They renewed 37 out of 38 plumbing licenses. And Wayne Kidney announces a retirement as of February 7th. And I'd like to be the first to thank him for his years of service. And the next meeting is February 5th at 6:30 right here in the council room. Electrical Board also met on January the 8th. They renewed 61 out of 65 electrical licenses. There were 2 new applications, Dunkin' Donuts and 17 Orange Street. The next meeting is also on February 5th at 6:45 p.m. right here in the council chambers. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was also Electrical Board? Okay.
Okay.
Senior Advisory, Mr. Siegel?
I met with the senior housing representatives and residents during the past months. There are no issues to report. That's all I have there, Mayor.
Thank you. And anything from Access 23?
Yes, Access 23, there are no memberships meetings during the winter months to save on energy. Time Warner Cable is tuning up the equipment to get a better signal out, and they have vacated the second floor and given that back to the city to save on energy costs as well. And that's all I have on that, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Under Mayor's Correspondence and Information Update, I have a handful of things tonight. Hopefully after 2 weeks it'll slow down, but no surprise. As you can see, we're going to bring back some old stuff. We're going to bring in some new stuff. Tonight we had Toria Burton from the Browning Troop 250 who started off with the pledge. We're going to get the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts to come in and the Cub Scouts to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Something that happened a few administrations ago. On the night of a council meeting, I will announce that I will be attending, and this is to bring community together, so I'm inviting anybody that wants to join me, but I will announce at a council meeting that I will attend a different church service the upcoming weekend. The first one that I'm going to attend is Grace Fellowship at 25 Sullivan Avenue. Their worship begins at 10:30, and I invite anybody that wants to go with me. I'll meet here on the side of the hill at Sussex Street at 10 o'clock. That's this Sunday at 10 o'clock for a worship at 10:30. I'm looking for volunteers, people who want to help out, who want to get involved in our community. What I ask you to do is first I'd like to introduce my administrative assistant, Cody Scales, is back here. Cody is at your whim. If you contact my office at 858-4017 and let Cody know that you're interested, he'll take your name, your phone number, and your address, and we'll build up a volunteer report list and try to get you hooked up to get involved in city activities. Something I'm looking about to add to the council meeting is a youth and a senior report that they could just talk about their activities that are going on either in school for the youth or activities that the seniors might be having. Also, for some of the people that have been around for a while, WDLC used to play Reveille Ranch early in the morning, and there was a birthday club. So I spoke with the owner of the radio station, and beginning in February, we will be starting Reveille Ranch again. We dug it through some files. And if you contact my office, Cody, and give the person's name and their birth date, we'll add it to our list. Or you can go to Port Jervis Birthday Club at gmail.com. That's Port Jervis Birthday Club at gmail.com. And I will be announcing birthdays in the morning. And once a week there'll be a drawing for a free cake, just like there was years ago. I'm going to take a little time to do this so that Ms. Schwarzenegger gets them all down. I'm not going to do all the appointments. I'm actually going to do the committee appointments on Monday, January 27th at the next council meeting. But I am going to appoint the council liaison or representatives. So for the zoning board, I'm appointing Mr. Ritchie. For the planning board, I'm appointing Mr. Ritchie. For community development, I am appointing Mr. Oni, Mr. Hendrick, Mr. Cunningham, and Mr. Ritchie. Good so far? For housing, Mr. Siegel. For ADA, Mr. Hendrick. For recreation, Mr. Walagrowski. For senior advisory, Mr. Siegel. For tourism, Mr. Bovozo. And then common council committees are the Department of Public Works. The chairman will be Mr. Cunningham. Council members are Mr. Oni, Mr. Walagrowski, and Mr. Ritchie. On the police committee, the chairman is Mr. Hendrick. And committee members are Mr. Oni, Mr. Ritchie, and Mr. Cunningham. For fire emergency management, the chairman is Mr. Walagrowski. Committee members are Mr. Bovozo, Mr. Bell, and Mr. Ritchie. On code, the chairman is Mr. Siegel, and the members are Mr. Oni, Mr. Bovozo, and Mr. Hendrick. On finance, the chairman will be Mr. Bell. On the committee is Mr. Ritchie, Mr. Bovozo, and Mr. Cunningham. I've also appointed a police negotiating committee, which is chaired by Mr. Hendrick and includes Mr. Mr. Bell, Mr. Walagrowski, and Mr. Ritchie. I have met with and received a correspondence from Mr. Butler from Cruise and Port. After the discussion and meeting with myself and the police chief, and Mr. Butler, as well as the owner of WDLC, we are going to make a request that Cruise and Port is going to move to Riverside Park. And we will be opening the gate at Fowler Street across the railroad tracks. This gives them much more room, and plus our anticipated construction of the promenade, which will begin in early spring. It's going to limit them space on Front Street. So it was agreed upon. However, I would like to have somebody make a motion to table this so that all the department heads can look at it. Mr. Faccione, I spoke with him. He has already looked at this also and has agreed upon it being in the recreation, because it's going to be the first Tuesday from April to October, except for the month of August, because the first Tuesday falls on National Night Out, so it'll be on the 2nd. And we'd also like to leave a date open of the 2nd weekend and the 3rd in August of those Tuesdays as alternative dates for rain. So can I get a motion to table this?
So moved.
I have a motion to table by Mr. Bovozo, a second.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Cunningham. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. The Orange County Association of Towns, Villages, and Cities has its January meeting on Tuesday, January 28th. I unfortunately have a prior engagement. It's $30 per person. It is at the Fowl Country Club in Central Valley. I'd like to, if there's anybody interested in going, to please let me know. Barbara Decker needs to know by January 21st. And if we can get a motion that any council member that's interested in going, that we will pick up the expense. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cunningham, second by Mr. Ritchie. Discussion?
What's the date, Mayor?
It is January 28th. It's a Tuesday.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you. I'm in receipt of a letter from Bovozo, Plotsky, and Onifree, and it's requesting that we set a public hearing for an R2 zone change at 15 Orchard Street. I spoke with Mr. Kidney in regards to this. This is something that's been done before. It is the property of Philip and Gladys Wells. They have a double lot, each 100 by 100, and they want to have it pushed into the R2 zone. that lot, and then they're going to subdivide the lot. So can I get a motion to set a public hearing?
Just before we do the motion on it, I just want to make it noted that this matter is now in front of the code committee. I was informed by the building department that they would be getting me some paperwork in regard to a similar instance to this a few years ago. I believe there's about 3 residential properties there that are now being considered for the change in zoning. So I'm not sure how the code committee chairman wants to move forward with that, or the building department.
Well, we need to have the public hearing anyway, so let's do that, and then codes can take a look at it.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I have a motion for a public hearing, and that would be the next
What date and time next?
next common council meeting on the 27th
Yeah.
at 7 o'clock.
That'll work.
I have a motion by Mr. Woligrowski, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cunningham. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
So carried. For your interest, on February 9th and February 10th, that's a Sunday and a Monday, NICOM's winter legislative meeting will be held in Albany. This is free of charge to attend. However, since it's overnight, I'm sorry, no, it's not free of charge. If we are members, it's $85 a member. I'd like to have somebody make a motion that if a member of the council would like to attend this, that we pay for the membership and for the hotel and expenses overnight.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Siegel, second by Mr. Cunningham. Any discussion?
Do we have the schedule of events for that?
It's attached to this. I can give it to you. I think I did send it to you.
I think it went around on emails to all the council members.
Yeah.
Any further, Mr. Bill?
No.
But I can make you a copy of it too. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I am in receipt of a letter, a memo actually, from Wayne Kidney dated December 30th of 2013. Wayne is the building official. This memo is to respectfully serve as notice that I have contacted the New York State Civil Service Local Retirement System to request service retirement to be effective February 8th of 2014. I will be retiring from my City of Port Jervis positions of Building Safety Department Head, Building Official, Senior Code Enforcement Officer, Zoning Administrator, Floodplain Administrator, Plumbing Inspector, Executive Secretary of the Electrical Board, and Executive Secretary of the Plumbing Board. I thank you for your attention to this matter. Do I have a motion to accept this retirement?
I make a motion to accept with regret.
Motion to accept by Mr.
Second.
Bell with regret, second by Mr. Ritchie. And first like to discuss it, I'd really like to thank you for all your years of service, the 2 years that I worked with you on the code committee, and you served the city very well. I thank you. Anybody else? Discussion.
Gonna be missed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you.
I just want to know if I can call them for help.
Oh, you can call him.
He's not going to answer.
He's already changed his number.
He's gonna hand that phone in when he leaves. You can call it all you want.
He
He's halfway
promised
out
not-
the door right now.
He promised me not to move out of town.
Okay, I have a memorandum for request from Lori Powery, the Assistant Building Official. I respectfully request permission for the Code Enforcement Officer to attend monthly Tri-County NYS BOC meetings and in-service training classes to fulfill annual Code Enforcement Officer certification requirements. All costs for the Tri-County meetings and in-service training are included in the Building Department 2014 operating budget. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Do I have a motion to accept this?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Woligrowski, second. Mr. Cunningham. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. It's that time of year again, gentlemen. Mr. Stein sends his letter in that he is offering his piece of art that is at the corner of Pike and Front, that he would sell it to us for $16,000, or we can lease the, which we are under contract to lease it again for another year for $1.
I make a motion
Your pleasure.
that we continue to lease for $1. I'll second that
I have
motion.
a motion by Mr. Oni to continue the lease for $1.
Well, how long does this?
This is it.
No,
Next year-
Now, see, I read
Can
it
we
that
get an
way too.
extension?
But I'm gonna have it looked at because
And a can of paint?
he says that this is the beginning of year 4 of 5.
Oh, so there's no pressure until a year after
There's
next.
no pressure.
All right.
Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Oni, a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bell. Any further discussion?
Can we at least put a PJ on it or something, or
Paint it
change
red
the
and
color?
You can't change an artist's interpretation of a piece of.
Any other discussion?
I interpret it differently.
Mayor, I'd like to have my seat changed because it's looking at the
He
agenda,
requested that
I
you-
wasn't gonna bring this up, but looking at the agenda, he has 4 items in a row
I know.
that I have to sit
Sit
next
here and
to.
listen to him.
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry. I meant that
All
the
in
nicest
favor?
way.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Painted.
I have a request from Mrs. Dawn Lash of the Business and Professional Women's Club of Port Jervis that on March 8th of 2014, they will be holding their annual Tricky Tray at the Port Jervis High School. And as in past years, they would request that the DPW could hang 2 banners at the entrances to the city. And as long as Mr. Lopez has no problems, do I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Cunningham, a second by Mr. Oni. Any discussion? Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. The rest that I have is all for executive session. So, City Clerk Treasurer's Report, Mrs. Wozniak.
Yes, I have an information item right off the top, and that is that New York State has implemented a call center to assist the public with general information on vital records. In other words, birth, death, and marriage information. Their new toll-free number is 1-855-322-1022. And that is a new toll-free number with the Department of Health for information on vital records for the general public. Also for both the information of the public and this council, I have received a letter from the Local Government Services Office of the Office of the State Controller. They do every now and then, they do what they call desk audits, and they audit different things from the perspective of what cities, towns, and villages are doing. We happen to this year fall under a desk audit for our calculation and supporting documentation of our tax levy limit and the determination of the final tax levy. I submitted all the documents to the office, and we have received our letter indicating that our governing board, while it exceeded the tax levy limit, did so appropriately by voting to override the tax levy limitation, and all of our documentation is sufficient in that area. So, we've received that as a desk audit from the state controller's office. Other than that, we did this time on our water bills, we tried to put out a bit more information on our half-rate water. Thank you to all the people that have been calling with questions about the half-rate water. We try to get this out as much as we can, but we do have a half rate available to anyone who is a single owner occupant of their home. And as a matter of fact, we actually had a situation where there was 2 owners on a duplex property. The owners lived on their respective sides as single occupants. They technically were both owners, and so we granted half rate to both sides of the home. So it's working for some people, and we're getting more people on it who should be benefiting from it, and that's what we like to see. Also in our office, reminder that this month is water collection. It's also your county tax bill month. So if you haven't received your county tax bill, or your escrow company may be processing it for you, just to let you know, January is that month. And I think that's it. I did announce at the December meeting that the internal audit by our CPA firm would be due in December. That did occur. They did come in and do 2 days worth of field work. And as is now the practice with audit firms, where they're doing a lot of the auditing through e-auditing. And basically we're sending documents back and forth via email and doing a lot of the auditing that way, saving personnel time out in the field. So I could be aggravated with them through email rather than in person. And that is it from the City Clerk Treasurer's Office.
Thank you, Mrs. Weisenegger. Old business, Mr. Siegel.
Old business.
He wasn't.
Sorry.
He wasn't ready, Mayor.
I'll switch it up every week.
Yes, I'd like to know when EVR is going to meet with the council on a date that's convenient for the council members.
I asked my administrative assistant to contact them and set up a date
Okay.
as soon as possible.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh,
Mr. Hall?
no, Mayor, no business.
Mr. Ritchie?
Nothing, man, thank you.
Mr. Henry?
Nothing, Mayor, thanks.
Mr. Beloso?
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Cunningham?
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Walagrowski?
Nothing.
Mr. Bell?
I have an email from George Belcher regarding the contract for the electric rates. Electric rates change daily. Once we agree on a rate, the contract must be sent to the mayor, signed and faxed back to the provider before 3 p.m. on that day, on the day that it was received, where the rates will change, because it's changed daily. On Friday, you have rates for a 12-month contract at 6.58 cents per kilowatt hour, a 24-month rate of 6.46 cents per kilowatt hour, and a 36-month rate at 6.42 cents per kilowatt hour. He says if we were to sign a 24-month contract, the rate should be slightly less than what our present contract rate from the beginning of the contract was, which was 6.47 cents. What he's asking for is authority to finalize the agreement and forward the contract on to the mayor for his approval and signage. And I'll make that a motion to allow that to happen.
Thank you. I have a motion for Mr. Bell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second for Mr. Bovozo. Any discussion? I did discuss this with Mr. Belcher, and he was interested in keeping on top of the rates. I spoke with Mrs. Wozniaker, and we agreed that if he wants to do that, he can do that. So we're going to give him the permission to do that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And thank him also. Anything else, Mr. Bell?
No, that's it, Mayor.
Okay. New business.
No new business.
New business, Mr. Walagrowski.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Cunningham.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to allow the mayor to sign the annual agreement with the Partners in Safety to do the 2014 alcohol and drug testing for DPW and Dial-A-Bus. Funding for this service is in the 2014 budget. And that's
A
I
second.
have a motion by Mr. Cunningham, a second by Mr. Bell. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Anything else, Mr.
I'd just like to mention the Port Jervis Elks had their hoop shoot this weekend. We congratulate all the winners, but I'd like to mention the first place winners. First place winners in the girls 8 and 9 was Penny Jones of Port Jervis. In the 10-11 age group, Kimberly Covell from Westtown. 12 to 13 girls, Kristen Robinson from Port Jervis. Under the boys group, we had Landon Machado from Port Jervis. In 10-11, his brother Preston Machado, also Port Jervis. And the 12-13-year-old group was Sam Startup from Sparrowbush. These kids will continue on next week to Sullivan Community College for the district event and eventually to the state event and hopefully to the national event. And we congratulate them all. Thank you, ma'am. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bovozo.
I'd just like to say it's nice to be back up here. It's been a long time, and I'm certainly in a different capacity now. But I'm looking forward to working with everybody, committees, tourism board, department heads, as much as they'll let me. I can guarantee you there's a lot I have to catch up on, so there might be a few questions I can't answer right off the bat. But I can guarantee I'm going to get you those answers, and I can guarantee I'll get caught up pretty quickly and do my best to serve the city. So thank you very much. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Henry.
Yes, a couple things, Mayor. First, I'd like to make a motion for executive session to include litigation, tax lien properties, and invite Mrs. Duryea, personnel, building department, personnel, corporation counsel, and invite Mr. William Bavoso, pending litigation, and sale of city-owned properties. And I make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Hendrick. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cunningham. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And the second thing, Mayor, is with regards to the council seat that is currently vacant in the second ward as a result of a tie in the last general election. The charter C2-10 entitled Filling Vacancies in City Office states, except as otherwise provided for in this charter, if a vacancy shall occur in any elective office of the city, the common council shall appoint a person to fill such a vacancy for the balance of the unexpired term. Such appointment shall be made by a majority vote of those council members present at either the regular or special meeting during which such business is transacted. As a result, I'd like to make a motion that candidate Cheryl L. Teets be appointed to fill the vacancy that currently exists in the second ward, city of Port Jervis, for the balance of said term.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Hendrick. I have a second by Mr. Bavozo. Any discussion? I'm going to ask for a roll call vote. Mr. Siegel?
What one am I voting on?
Cheryl Keats for second ward council seat.
I told you.
No.
Mr. Oni?
No.
Mr. Ritchie?
No.
Mr. Hendrick?
Yes.
Mr. Bavozo?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Walagrowski?
Yes.
Mr. Bell?
No.
That leaves us with a tie.
Therefore, no vote.
No vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Do you have anything further?
That's it.
Mr. Ritchie?
Thank you, Mayor. In regards to that second ward vacancy, as chairman of the Port Jervis Republican Committee and second ward councilman, I'm writing to voice my approval to appoint George Belcher to fill the vacancy of the second ward council seat until an election can be held. George has been a councilman for 18 years and has served on all committees. This kind of experience will be helpful in the new administration and current projects, as well as the new projects that are listed for the agenda. George is a lifetime resident and has always had the city's best interest in heart. So I would like to make a roll call vote on the appointment of George Belcher to second ward council seat.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Mr. Bell?
Discussion, Mayor?
Discussion?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to state that there was some thought that should this vote also be a tie, that there'd be an informal gentleman's agreement, so to speak, that this wouldn't be brought up at another time. We would just leave it for the next election. And I think the reasoning for that is that such appointment shall be made by a majority vote of those council members present. And since we're all present here at this time, we got a good vote, and this would make sure that in the future, if somebody was absent, that we wouldn't raise this issue to do it that way. So that's my only discussion there, Mayor.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it would be inappropriate if this appointment was made on a 4-3 vote because somebody was sick or not able to be here.
Yeah, and it's not the end, because if there is a special election, those two names will both go there. So it's not the end of the story, it might be just the beginning.
Any other discussion? Just for the people in the public, We have requested that should the state hold a special election for the assembly position that was vacated by Ms. Rabbit, that we would attach that second ward vote to the ballot. Otherwise, this will come up in November of the general election. And the reason that the city of Port Jervis would not hold a special election is because we have to have it administered by the county, and it costs about $10,000 for us to do that. So it is not fiscally responsible for us to have that election. So I thank you gentlemen for bringing this issue up, and then if it's a tie, the gentleman's agreement not to let it happen again. Any further discussion?
We need to vote.
Yeah, no, I need. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call, I'm sorry, roll call.
He's ready.
Mr. Siegel, Mr. Siegel.
Yes.
Mr. Oni.
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrick.
No.
Mr. Beloso.
No.
Mr. Cunningham.
No.
Mr. Walagrowski.
No.
Mr. Bell.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen, that's a tie, it's a no vote. Mr. Ritchie, any further new business?
That's it, thank you.
Mr. Oni.
No, Mayor.
Mr. Siegel.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. Fourth Ward Neighborhood Watch is this Wednesday, the 15th, at Engine 4 Firehouse at 7 p.m. I'd like to suggest that we review the committee meeting nights and not have 3 on one night. I don't think it's fair to any of the committees to have 3 on one night. And Mr. Newhouse wants to get Orange County out of the MTA tax. I think that I would like to suggest that we write a letter in support of that. I think we did it once before. I think we should do it again with the new county administrator.
You want to make that a motion?
Yes, I would.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Siegel, second by Mr. Bell, to write a letter to Orange County Executive Newhouse to opt out of the MTA tax. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Mr. Siegel?
That's it.
Okay. We now move on to our second public comment with a 3-minute limit. Is there anybody in the public that would like to speak about any topic?
You have to stop that coughing in 3 minutes, Walter. You're only allowed 3 minutes.
You'll have me coughing in a minute. I'd like to propose something for the veterans that live in Port Jervis, that they have some type of say and their concerns that live in Port Jervis. As a disabled Vietnam veteran myself, I hear a lot of talk when I go to the outpatient clinic here and also at Castle Point for treatments. I think that would be a good thing for the veterans to hear about, because so many of them are disinformed, what they're entitled to, what help that they can get. My wife volunteers in Port Jervis at the center as a volunteer for the Office of the Aging, and there are veterans that come in there, and you know, I try to help if I'm called upon, to give them any information that I've been through that may help them. So I think maybe Port Jervis can do a little bit for their veterans. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you. Is there anybody else? Mr. Tomas?
Just in regard to opting out of the tax, the MTA tax, as far as the county is concerned, again, speaking as a commuter, I ride with thousands of people from Orange County into the city, and we bring every dollar of our paychecks back to Orange County, to the businesses, to the homes that we buy, to all that kind of stuff. I don't know how much that makes a difference, but from my standpoint, I pay $382 per month just to get to my job. So those, whatever the tax is to businesses in Orange County, it does offset, which you can imagine is a significant cost to get to work. Remember, all that salary comes right back here to Port Jervis in Orange County. That's not enough to the businesses.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, could we go back on the new business before we close, or something just came up?
Sure. First, public comment. Others are any more? Hearing none, I'll shift back to new business. Mr. Siegel?
Many people are having difficulty getting Access 23 on their television. Some people have gone and got the digital converter boxes, which at best work inefficiently or sporadically or don't work at all. Very complicated to do it. We found in the last couple days that people are able to get reception on newer TVs on channel 20-1 and 20-2, depending on the make of your TV. So if you cannot get Access 23 and you have a newer television, try to, there's sub-channels, there's 20-1, 20-2, etc. Try the sub-channels there and see if you can get it. And then you won't have to deal with that box and you can tell them come and get it.
You're not violating any FCC requirements.
No, the signal's there, it's just it's in weird places.
20.4 also stands.
20.4 as well. So go through the 20s and maybe you won't have to use that box. And the box reconfigures your screen. It's difficult, so I would suggest that people do that.
Thank you, Mr. Just to add on to that, Mr. Siegel, we are broadcasting live over the internet. You can go to our City of Port Jervis website. It says click live. You click live and you're going to go to our Ustream account and you can watch the meeting live also. So if you have your, I had it on the phone here earlier, you can have it on your iPad or even your home computer and you can watch it from there. Thank you. Hearing no other new business or public comments, I'd like a motion to move into executive session. Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Oney. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We do expect to have a vote when we come out.